You're listening to Mr. Liverpool himself, Frank Carlyle, exclusively on Mersey Radio.
Well, what do you think of that then? What the opening's absolutely fantastic. And here we are. We're going to talk about everything tonight, boys. Everything. And I've got in the studio the wonderful Des Flanagan. Ta-da!
Hi, Frank.
And the other wonderful person is Ian Golder. Ta-da!
Hello, Frank.
So this is wonderful, isn't it?
The drum rolls.
Well, you know, Jason was supposed to have all these drum rolls going and everything else, but unfortunately, he never. Well, anyway, football. What do you think of the football over the weekend?
Yeah. Well,
that shut you up, didn't it?
We could have done without a replay. Let's face it.
Yeah.
All the way down.
Defeated the object, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, he put out all these youngsters, you know, to have like nearly 80% of their possession.
I've got to be honest, I thought he'd done well.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
You're unlucky, you know, let's be honest.
I don't blame him for playing them, to be honest.
No,
with you.
I think they've got to give the lads, how many games have they played in the last month, you know, so I think they've had a little bit of a rest. So, they did well. Well, anyway, what do you think of the weather?
It's getting colder. Have you heard about the snow? There's supposed to be we're going to have snowstorms, aren't we?
Well, I know it's in Europe at the moment, you know, including Italy, because Italy's had a bag, the Greek islands.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's everywhere, isn't it, really, throughout Europe, so it's on its move here, apparently.
I quite like it. I quite like the snow.
I hate the snow. I hate it.
It's alright when it's coming, you know, when it's just fresh and it's coming down.
Yeah, but you don't have to drive around in it. That's why you like it.
I've got a car now, mate.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not up in the world.
Well, you'll soon hate it then.
No, I just don't like it at all. I can't walk in it. I can't walk in it at all.
I love it. I love it when it's fresh. It's when it's like, when it goes to slush.
Yeah.
So I always, do you remember the Carlton Cinema?
Yep.
Right. And I always remember queuing up outside there in the slush as a kid. My feet were freezing. Nearly said something else there. My feet were really, really cold. And, you know, just sat through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what it was, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
thanks for sharing that, you.
Yeah, good. It's just me lasting memory of slush.
I know.
It's not I can't believe it. You know, I only mentioned the weather, and he said he was sitting in the car and freezing, with his little feet freezing.
We're in the snow now.
No,
probably had holes in my shoes.
Most probably. I remember my feet being freezing. Do you ever remember when Jez would queuing up for tickets for a game? And he used to go dead early at like 3 or 4, or even up all night.
Yeah. Or for cup final tickets.
Absolutely, and I've done that many times, you know.
And you used to remember when you were a kid, and your ma used to put fiery jack.
To
school, you know.
Yeah.
It was like
keep your feet warm.
It was like Vaseline, but it was like an ointment, you know.
Right, yeah.
But it burnt you, didn't it?
Burnt the soles of your feet.
I sort of remember my grandma putting something in my shoes like that. Yeah. This isn't a joke either.
No.
I'm glad it's not a joke either.
You thought that's a
joke. But anyway, what I want to mention, and I'm going to mention this a couple of times tonight, and it's young Katie Wright.
Yes.
And it's an appeal for her. Now the point is, I'm not going to go into discussion about everything, because we've got to raise the money no matter what. And it's from 120 grand, you know, which was last year. She got to have this treatment. This is life-saving treatment. She's a 14-year-old girl, a 14-year-old girl, and it's tripled, I think. Tripled, is it?
Well, it's 370 grand.
370,000 quid.
What happened there? How did that happen?
Well, the thing is, you see, it's just ridiculous. Now, we can pay just like that, drop of a hat, to drop bombs wherever, you know, it costs millions. And there's the likes of Katie, you know. We can just raise like 300 million or whatever it is, you know, to do a palace up. Just the drop of a hat. And yet, this girl, you know, in our own country,
even if you go back,
can't even get treatment.
Well, we saw about this, a couple of weeks ago, Frank. And I can't understand why the government couldn't have a pot set aside for these kids, because the parents have to go it alone.
Yes.
And I know they had a night on for Katie a couple of weeks ago in town, but all the members of her family and friends have been packing bags in Tesco's and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Just to raise the money.
Just to raise the money. And you know, thank you for all the people that put in, but it doesn't even scratch the surface.
No.
The thing is, like, if you think about it, you know, we'll quite happily pay 60 quid for a concert ticket, you know what I mean? Or 30 quid, 40, 50 quid for a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
my
throw it
point
in a
is,
fold.
the governments have a separate pot
Yeah.
for these people. Now, if everyone just paid £1 once,
Yeah.
It'll cover everything.
it will cover everything.
Yeah.
This. And
But it doesn't work out like that, you see.
No.
This is the way they look at it. We have so many charities for everything.
Yeah.
And yet, but this is like an individual case.
Yeah.
This is to save the life of
It needs to be
a young
national, doesn't
14. Of course it does. I know Katie's auntie, Andrea Neri.
Yeah, no,
And Andrea is a lovely, lovely person. And she's doing her utmost, you know. She's belting it out all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, something, hopefully, we will raise it. It's as simple as that, because in the first month they've raised £100,000.
I was going to put something to you about the one of the dues that we do.
Yeah,
Hopefully
absolutely, we'll do that.
towards
Yeah, put it towards that. Yeah, that's a great gesture. That, to be honest, and that's in a few weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, boys, I was mentioning last week, you know, thanking the people who've been on the show, you know, over the past year.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to mention a couple of other people. One of them's Joe Gamble. And Joe, you know, is not Joe, it's Andy.
Andy Gamble. His wife's called Joe.
I know.
Yeah.
I was thinking who's
Sorry, Andy. But anyway, they just mention Andy, you know, and searching, because they're a great bunch of fellas and wonderful professionals, and they've done the show a few times with us for nothing, by the way, for nothing. John McCardle, aka who? Billy Corkill. Yeah, Billy Corkill.
He's in Emmerdale now. He's still in Emmerdale, is he?
I don't know. I don't watch it. Don't tell him that.
That's the only bit of fresh air he gets.
No, yeah.
Noticed I said, is he? I asked the question. I didn't say he's still. Well, I did it first, and then that's it.
Do you ever remember that bad joke when they used to say, do you go out? Do you ever go out and to fix the aerial now and again?
That's it, yeah.
Get on the roof and fix it. Yeah, the only time, yeah. Nasher.
Yeah.
Brian Nash, you know, he was on last year, you know, he contributed to us. Pish Marley, wonderful Pish, you know, with his Billy No Mates, and we're trying to get him on, aren't we, in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, we'll get him on soon. Yeah.
He's snowed in, isn't he?
Yeah, he snowed. Did you see what he put? He put up a bear, you know, it's a great big bear roaming around. What's that all about?
In his garden.
In his garden. What's that all about? Would you?
Where is he? Where does he go? 40 miles south of what?
Ontario, is it? Isn't it? I think so.
Is it Ontario or Ontario?
Ontario, isn't it?
Ontario.
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 Where did you get that from?
It's Ontario.
Let's hope not.
It's Ontario. Yes, so, you know, these wonderful people. I forgot her name. Thanks very much, Ian, for interrupting. Because that name, who said I was going to mention, is completely and utterly gone.
That's okay. We'll forget it in the second half of the show.
Yeah, we'll get it.
And we'll forget it then.
And we'll forget it then as well. Oh, what? This and this. Oh, I said, I'll mention it. I mention. But, like, as I said, you know, it's just one of those things. Tonight, we've got Grant Niebergall, and he's been a regular. He's been, you know, and every week, got to thank him as well. And he's on tonight, funny enough, as Grant. And Aaron Brace, he's in a band called Son of Rams. I wonder if I should have been in that.
Son of Rams.
Son of Rams, yeah. Why are you looking at me like that, Ian? You know?
I'm trying to think what.
And funny enough,
like Ian's band, that, you know, the one who used to be a load of bull.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. But you know, like, is it Aaron or Aaron? Because
Aaron, wasn't it?
well, I've always said Aaron, and I always remember a colleague of mine, you know, teaching, and I said, well, she said, oh, I've got me 2 sons or something like that, and I said, oh yeah, what's in it, Eric? And the other fella, she said, Aaron. I said, Aaron. I said, Aaron. She said, yeah. And I went, so okay. And this fella went, no, it's Aaron. And I went, Aaron. I said, how do you spell Aaron? I thought she was going to say H-A-R-O-N. And she went, double A. I said, no, it's Aaron. She said, no, it's not. It's Aaron. And I went, oh, okay. Never ever called him Aaron. She said, imagine me going around saying, how's your Aaron? No, I'm sorry. But anyway, Aaron plays drums and a keyboard, so he's a guest with Grant. And also we've got David Howe. Now, David Howe is a Doctor Who expert and a historian. And he also wants to talk about the campaign to raise funds for a Doctor Who memorabilia museum. How's that? That's good. So we'll be chatting to him a bit later on. And Neil Garner. We've got no Joe tonight. She's full of flu.
Ah, is she?
Yes, so she's flew the nest, unfortunately. Did you like that? Did you like that? You know, I love puns, you see. So, but anyway, we've got Neil Garner, who's back home from New York.
Was he back?
Or New Jersey, wherever he was. Yeah, he's back home.
That'll be interesting, that.
And there's been birthdays this week. Matty, you know Matty Aarons. He was... I think he was 59, wasn't he, or 61? How old was he? 61, yeah. That's terrible, listen. Jason's just said he was 63. So, Matty, well done, mate. 63, you know, that's a nice age, that. Ian Golder was...
How do you know?
Yeah, well, it's his birthday this week.
Great.
Very nice, Ian.
Yeah, legends are born in January. So
Legends. That's it. Well, yeah. Look, Rory Storm. How old was Rory Storm? Would have been? How old would he have been? Have a guess. Rory, you wouldn't know. Rory Storm and the Hurricanes.
I'd say 74.
Okay. What would you say?
76.
Well, he would have been 79.
Ooh.
79, Rory. Elvis.
That's right.
Now, how old have Elvis have been?
He was 40 when he died.
No, how old? Just have a guess. 83. What would you say? Don't start adding up in your head. Just have a guess.
86.
God blimey, you know, he gets on my nerves. It's right now that's what's up with us.
It's no use just saying a number off the top of your head. And you don't
you know, don't work it out. He was 40 when he died. No, he was 42 when he died.
Was he?
Well, he would have been 89.
Oh, that old.
89.
It was Shirley Bassey's birthday yesterday as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
She
was 80.
Go away. Well, that's a surprise.
And it was also David Bowie's birthday.
Well, how old was he? Don't say nothing, because you know.
He would have been 70.
He would have been 70. Very good.
Well done, Ian.
David Bowie. You know, so they're great.
Can I tell you who else's birthday it was as well? Professor Stephen Hawking's birthday. And how old do you reckon he is? Because this surprised me, this. I thought he was a lot younger than what he actually is.
I think he was about 64 or something like that.
I did. And he's not.
How old is he?
75.
Go away.
Yeah.
Go away.
75. It doesn't look that old a soul, does he?
No.
You know who else's birthday it was? David Silver, who plays for Man City. How old is he?
31.
Get paid, Frank.
Is he?
Bang on.
He's getting on then,
31.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was my uncle's birthday on the 5th, and it's my dad's birthday on Friday with mine.
Right, go away.
My uncle was 70 and my dad's 72.
So you and your dad have the same birthday?
Yeah, not the same day, obviously.
Well, we know that here.
He's a bit
We'll be playing poker with Ian after the show.
Awful. Terrible. But anyway, what I'd like to mention as well is Amber. Now, Amber J. Higgins, she's done a little cover version.
Yeah. That's Andrea's daughter.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so Katie's cousin, which is Andrea Neri's daughter, she's Amber J. Higgins, has recorded a cover version of Snow Patrol's Run to help to raise awareness and funds. And you can actually find this, boys and girls and everybody else, on YouTube. And if you download it for just 79p, and we'll post the links on our website, see, every 79p will go to that particular
it's on iTunes,
funds.
isn't it?
Yeah. So it's great. And you can also donate via GoFundMe. GoFundMe, which is great, And so 79p.
Yeah.
For to
Everyone's
download.
got to download that, haven't they?
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. But as
If everyone does that.
yeah, but as Jez said a few minutes ago, if everyone put £1, that's all. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. And I think the way this country is, on the national level, there's some parts of the national level that is absolutely brilliant. It's wonderful. Because you see on social network, people have been in there and they're saying, thank the nurses and the doctors, I'm all right now and everything else. But it's the likes of Katie Wright, 14 years of age, 14, and she has to go over there and find 370,000 quid for a life-saving
I think you've got to be positive. I think you're right. I think they will get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So. But anyway, I tell you what. Let's have a song, eh? Shall we have a little song? And it's Lonely Callers, or shall we have no? I say, I'll tell you what we're gonna have. We're gonna have a little. Yeah. This is awful. We'll have Amber J. Higgins's. Little cover version, but it's only a snippet, isn't it? It's a little snippet of Amber J. Brilliant. Just listen to this.
Listen to Mersey Radio wherever you are, on air, online, and on your phone. www.merseyradio.co.uk.
Well, that was only a little snippet of it. So isn't that brilliant by Amber J. Higgins?
Yeah,
lovely voice.
Done a good job there, Amber, if you're listening then. Well done, kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just download it, 79p, and it all goes to help Katie. Now, don't forget, she's been diagnosed with leukemia, and she's had to endure endless operations and procedures until her treatment ended 7 months ago. And she's 14 years of age, as I said, and unfortunately she's had a relapse. Yeah. So this is why we've got to raise this money, because it's her best chance of survival. And the only best chance of survival is this treatment, and the treatment cost 370,000, and that's the crying shame of, I don't know, I just don't know, I can't get my head around, having to raise money. There's not only Katie, there's other kids as well that we raise funds for as well. But, let's concentrate now on Katie, young Katie, and you'll be alright, Katie, because you're bound to get this funding. You're bound to, especially with the help of everybody around here, especially with the help of your Auntie Andrea, and the lovely cover version of Your Cousin by Amber J. Higgins. So, everything will be okay for you. Everything. So let's hope. But anyway, we'll go to a song. We won't go to a song. So listen, boys, the weather, I was coming up tonight and it was freezing. Jason said, it's alright. I said, what's the weather like out, Jay? And he went, it's alright, freezing. I wonder why, And when he was driving, I couldn't see out, and I was looking like that. I was going, it's not foggy, is it? And I went like that with the He can drive. He's got X-ray eyes. Must have X-ray eyes because I couldn't see in front of me. And I said, "Can you see all right?" And he went, "Yeah." And it's just terrible. But anyway, we've got an
Might have been your glasses.
Well, this is it, you see.
Your glasses were steamed up.
Yes. Why's my glasses steamed up? You know what I mean? People could take a lot of innuendo from that. You know, the glasses steamed up. Sitting in a car with Jason.
Well, see, that thought never even crossed my mind. Then.
Well, there you go, you see. But
That's all.
That's what we've got to work with.
But it has now, and it'll never leave me.
Another scar right up there in my head.
I've got to mention Jason's dad, because Jason's dad came home from Spain.
Yeah.
Because he was ill and he had a heart attack. Am I right?
Yes, yeah.
And you know, he's on the mend now, he's on the recovery. Now the thing is, we were discussing this coming up again, and it's insurances. And you know, once the insurance went, "Oh, you know, listen, you'll have to go more or less, or we won't insure you again," you know. Or you know, you'll have to pay for treatment yourself. So why do you get insured when you go to it? It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's insurance companies all over them, Frank.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is what we were on about when we were driving here.
I can't stand them, I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because they send the loss adjusters in and everything else, you know. And they're happy to take your money when you pay
all the time.
Premiums, you know.
Poverty, saying, you know, these claims, people actually claim on these things that
I don't
they
like
pay
it.
for you.
And there's no style about it.
No,
There's
there isn't.
Shops, aren't they?
And it's only what Ian said there. You know, people have to claim, and they don't want you to claim.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the sort of, and don't get me wrong, you know, there was a lot of you know, a lot of false going on, but I think they've put it over in a way that they're making you out to be, you know.
Yeah, well, I had it myself.
It's demonising people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who make a claim when they have to.
I had the leak, and the insurance people sent the builder, one of their builders out, and he said, "No, you're not covered." I said, "Really?" I said, "Okay, put that in writing to me, because I want to include it when I write in the Ombudsman." The following day, all the bigwigs were out, and he done it all, and it was about $6,000 worth of work. So how can you go from "no, you're not covered" to I'm wanting to put me up in a hotel and everything, you know?
They're actually trying to get away
honestly,
with it, aren't they?
The parasites, mate. Parasites.
Well, this is it. It's all business, isn't it? No matter how you look at anything, it's all business. And it's only the little people who get, you know, shall I say, slaughtered. It's the little people people who try to run a business.
Right there. Yeah. Well, as soon as I mentioned Ombudsman, everyone jumped into action, you know. So I think they try it on.
Of course they try it on. Everybody tries it on. Everybody tries everything on with everybody else, and that's the sad.
But you don't expect that from that kind of industry. That's what I mean.
They should be professional enough to say, you know, we've made an agreement,
Absolutely.
signed an agreement, we'll abide by that. Not signed. I mean, how many people just go, "Oh, okay then."
Exactly.
You know,
and that's what he was hoping I was going to do, you know.
Well, anyway,
the challenge, everything is the moral of the story, you know.
Well, anyway, I'll tell you what. Let's mention a few people, Alan Hodgson, he listens in. He's listening in tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
We mentioned Andy Gamble, didn't we, before?
Yeah, mentioned Andy.
And Joe Gamble. We definitely.
The lovely Joe.
Yeah.
There'll definitely be a Joe Gamble up there.
Yeah, do you be it?
Right, okay.
Pish Marley's listening in.
Yeah.
All the way in Canada, over there, you know, snowed in. I remember him, you know what, it was sometime in November, early November, he said, "Yeah, there's the snow."
Yeah.
And it was snowing then.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know the way some people go, "Oh, I hope we have a white Christmas." You know, it's just absolutely nonsense. It hasn't stopped now. And, you know, as he says, you can have your white Christmases. You can have them all for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've got another fella, who listens in, Greg Toland, but he's sunbathing, isn't he?
It was in Australia.
Australia, yeah. And it was like 80 degrees, 6 o'clock in the morning. No, it's 30 odd degrees here, and it's only 6 o'clock in the morning. It could go up to 42 as the day goes on. That's mad, isn't it?
It is.
It's just too hot. It's just too hot. And what you think of all the, like these weather patterns? There's loads of snow in Europe, as we said.
Yeah.
We've got this massive iceberg that's about to break.
Where's that?
It's in the Arctic. It's about to break.
Yeah.
And you're talking like the size of countries.
Yeah.
The size of this massive ice. And it's just, people blame global warming. I don't believe all that nonsense.
No.
I really don't. I do not believe it.
So what do you think it is then?
Well, you can go into conspiracy theories and everything else, can't you? It is cycles.
It's a big cycle.
It is, and no matter how you look at it. I was watching a film, I was just sitting there and I said, I'll put 2012 on. John Cusack, bad ending. But anyway, it's like land masses being disrupted by the Earth's crust. They were more or less melting the Earth's crust. So at the end of the film, like the Arctic was in the middle of like Africa. The way it moved. The land masses moved and flooded and everything else. There was no such thing as Mount Everest because it was covered with water. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's things like that. Now this particular this big ice mass, it's a massive crack, and it's gradually breaking away. But I really think it's the elements of the sea, but also experiments underwater. Now don't forget, you had the atoll, didn't you? And they were sending nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
These big hydrogen bombs, the H bombs, they were setting them off, and this is underwater. So it doesn't just take like a couple of months.
No.
It takes years for it to have effect, and I think it's one of those. It's having effect.
The skullduggery somewhere, Frank, isn't it?
Definitely, because you have to, like, say for example, over in California, the Andreas Fault, where it opens up and closes again. It's like a zip. It opens up, closes, and they have these earthquakes. But around Japan and even New Zealand, there are big faults around there, and that's why Japan has all these like tsunamis. And Christchurch, for example, in New Zealand, that's always happened.
You've had a few lately, haven't you?
Yeah. Funny enough, again, I was looking at the news, about the snow in Italy, and last year there was a massive earthquake. I forget where it was. It's gone from me.
Yeah.
And you see it from the air, the snow and everything else, and it's still devastated. The town. It's still devastated, albeit that it's covered in snow.
Yeah. And that was quite central, wasn't it?
It's not
like
central
it's
Italy.
In the north where you get snow anyway.
No, you're right. You're spot on there. And no matter how you look at these particular patterns of volcanoes and the likes of earthquakes and tsunamis, it all has something to do with underwater. I still believe that. And the testing, no matter what, you've got big submarines, nuclear subs underneath there, and they're testing things, unbeknown to us. You're having bombs dropped on land. That's destroying the land structure. The amount of bombs that was put on Vietnam, that reverberates right through Southeast Asia.
What's the amount of bombs that are getting dropped now? Never mind.
No, I was just going to say that. What's happening in the Middle East, all that, bombs everywhere. If you look at Europe, if you look at Europe during the First and the Second World War and what was happening there, it takes years.
Yeah.
It just doesn't take like overnight, as I said. Years. And
didn't Istanbul, wasn't there an earthquake around Istanbul recently?
I don't know.
Last few years.
No.
It was a terrific comeback, which we'll talk about one time.
Yeah, in 2005. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was what. Yeah, that was. I like that. I like that. Yeah, Istanbul. Every time someone mentions now Istanbul, they always think about. You know that. I've got to mention this. You know Chris Robertson.
Yeah.
And he brought his lad to his first game.
Yeah.
His first game, you know, against Plymouth the other day.
Yeah.
He's made up, you know, the little lad was made up, and, you know, a little red. So he goes to the game. So today when he's in school, the teacher must have said to him, look, what did you do over the weekend? Draw what you did over the weekend. And he drew him and his dad at the match. He drew it. Isn't that fantastic? I love things like that. You know what I mean? But isn't that wonderful?
We all remember the first time.
Do you know what? I don't know the lad's name.
Remembers the first match.
Have you got any idea?
Derby County.
Never mind.
Obviously.
Mine was a Wednesday night game.
Yeah.
Against Crystal Palace. I'll never forget it. And we won 2-0. And what I remember, I was in the Kemlyn Road stand.
Yeah.
But my dad was in the cop. And what I remember, My Sweet Lord was playing over the tannoy, and Ian Callaghan was warming up on the touchline. And you know, that's never left me, that image.
Yeah. Do you know it was that game, the Derby County game I went to in the 77, I think 76. And the green grass with the floodlights on the green grass. It didn't get much greener than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what? I asked you the question. I said, do you know Chris Robertson's boy's name?
I don't know it,
no. Okay. Well, anyway, no, it doesn't matter now.
Texting Chris, because he is listening, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's messaged me.
Well, ask him his name. Because what I want to mention now is Cal Ruddy. Now, Cal Ruddy's been on our show.
Yeah.
And he said, I've got a massive bit of news to share with you all. I've been asked to represent Liverpool and be an ambassador for the city at San Diego Beatles Week in March. And he said, I'll also be doing a small tour of the US West Coast, including LA, Palm Springs, San Diego and Las Vegas. He said, I'm absolutely overwhelmed at this opportunity, but I need to raise funds to get me out there. I've set up...
Excuse me, sorry.
That's terrible. I've set up a... what's going on here? Anyway, he said, I've set up a GoFundMe campaign to get me together £5,000. Now, I think that's great. So you've got like two. You've got the likes of young Katie. And you've got the likes of, you know, two very different things. Yeah. Oh, very diverse.
At the ends of the spectrum there, isn't it?
Well, this is it, and it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful, you know, to think that he's going to represent Liverpool as an ambassador, and he's a smashing fella.
Yeah.
Can you know, before he goes, can we set up an interview with him?
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll have Cal on. Because our Francine said, Dad, why didn't you ask Jason to set up? You know, so Francine's listening in. And just as a message through, well, Ian has about Chris Robertson's son, you know, who actually drew him. And his name is Henry. That lovely little name. Henry Robertson. And anyway, he said, it's the drawing's something to be all, like he said, but the sentiment's there. You know, you imagine a little boy, you know, trying to draw him and his dad. But that's wonderful. Great, I love anything like that. Are we going to do a song?
We are. Yeah, do it.
You know, I'm talking away here, and it's just...
You know what, Frank, you're working harder than Esther Hanson's toothbrush tonight.
Oh, that's I believe you missed the Queen's speech again, didn't you?
Yeah, that's 50 years on the trot now.
50 years, that's terrible, that is. You know, we see...
Must make an effort next year.
Must make an effort. I think I told you that about 10 years ago, and you're still trying to make the effort. But anyway, we're going to go to a song, aren't we? I'll tell you who we love. We love Lonely Callers by Son of Rams. This is one of the lads. Aaron Brace, who's on a bit later, so we'll just have a little taste of what Aaron... Now, don't forget, Aaron plays the drums and keyboard. See what I mean? So, you know, let's see what he can do.
I wonder if he was named after Elvis.
Because he was Aaron, wasn't
he?
Yeah. Now, a lot of people wouldn't know that. Aaron. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had a brother, didn't he? As well, Elvis.
Brother,
I don't know what his name was, but he died, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know whether he had a sister as well. He didn't have a sister.
Go on.
Because PJ, it's got some connection with PJ Proby.
Oh, yeah.
Sister, yeah. I'm starting to think now, so I don't want to say nothing and get it wrong, but...
yeah, it's not worse than getting things wrong.
No, I know.
I'm not. Yeah, keep your mouth shut.
But his middle name is definitely Aaron. So
yeah. No, we know that. Yeah. Take your words. So anyway, well, we're going from Elvis to Aaron Brace. Now, Aaron will be made up with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'll be saying, like, I've been mentioned in the same breath as Elvis. Elvis. Did you know that I met Johnny Cash, and Johnny Cash is about 6'4", you know. And do you know what he calls? I said, Elvis, you know. Do you know what it's Elvis. He said Elvis. You know that's Elvis. The way. Yeah, but he said Elvis.
Elvis.
Like Elvis.
Yeah.
He said that's how you pronounce it.
That might be his accent.
He was looking for the cavern.
Was he?
Yeah, he was looking for the cavern in the 70s. Big tall fella, the man in black. Anyway, so you've been mentioned along with Johnny Cash, Aaron. So anyway, here he is, and it's called... It's not called No Mercy, it's Lonely Callers.
Getting out of bed, rubbing your eyes in the morning, going downstairs and having a cup of coffee. Is that how you start your day? No. What you need to do is open your eyes, lean over, switch your radio on, and listen to The Big Breakfast, Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. Getting you out of bed in a different way. Jason Scott.
The Big Breakfast.
Right here on Mersey Radio.
For the best signed and unsigned artists, tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. for WWK Signed and Unsigned with Billy Kelly. The best in 60s and 70s music, plus a little bit of history. Tune into Frank Carlyle every Monday at 8 p.m. here only on Mersey Radio.
Well, that was Lonely Callers by Son of Rams. And the Son of Rams, we've got the drummer and the keyboard player. And his name is Aaron Brace, and he's a guest of Grant Niebergall. Now, we all know Grant, because Grant is here with us once a month. And funny, like, he always has a super guest on, no matter where. I think someone was from... was it down in Nashville he was phoning from? It was a 3-way call, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that, wasn't it?
I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, but it was Nashville, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. That's all I'm saying. I know. Go. Is Grant there? Yeah. Anyway, we're going to go over to Grant anyway and talk to the wonderful man himself, all the way from Chicago. I wonder what it's like there. I wonder if it's snowing over there.
It'll be windy.
Yeah, the windy. Do you know what? It's funny, you know, when you see films and everything else, you don't see any wind at all, do you?
That's right, yeah.
No, you don't.
Unless it's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz was quite windy.
Was it?
In a tornado kind of way.
I remember my mate flying into Chicago a few years ago. He was going over to see some girl, and he said he loved the plane being buffeted by the wind. He said and everyone else was terrified. That's a typical of George Jones, you know what I mean? He loves danger, loves flying in the face of danger. Yeah. But anyway, have we got Grant there? Is Grant there?
Speaking in the flesh.
So that's Grant.
Hello, Grant.
Tally ho, gents. How you doing, guys?
We're good, thank you. What's the weather like over there?
Chilly today, hot tamale.
Right, okay. We've just been listening to Aaron Brace. Now, we were discussing this before about how to pronounce Aaron. Is it Aaron or Aaron?
It's Aaron.
Aaron, thank you.
Yeah. Or if you're used to the comedy sketch, Aaron. As everybody
Aaron, yeah, why not? So anyway, is he there with you, Grant?
Approximately 6 inches between me, which is my personal space.
Oh, right. So, I believe Jennifer's there.
We're huddling around an iPad right now, Frank.
All right, so okay. I believe Jennifer's there with you as well.
The best thing ever.
Well, there you go. You see,
good
there
answer,
you go.
Grant. Good answer.
I think that's the only answer he has to have there, Jess. The only.
Remember, gentlemen, these are connected.
Okay.
Right, honey? That's right.
So listen, Grant. Before we go over to Aaron, how's the biggest shop going on?
Well, the shop kind of had a baby. Mm-hmm. Basically, the long and the short of it, by God's grace alone, I got a letter from my landlord in South Holland, and he said that he was not going to renew my lease, and that was just something I left to my boss upstairs. And son of a gun, if I didn't end up in the 2,400 square feet from 800, which gave me an ample opportunity to set up basically 3 rehearsal rooms, a clinic stage, a storefront, a lounge. These rooms are also going to include dry storage above them. Basically, it's a multiplex facility, and my favorite part, multiple repairs for now every instrument across the board, up and through, including percussion. So These are definitely exciting times, and I have received a large, tremendous amount of support from everybody online and in my Facebook feed, and randomly referral, shared, copied, pasted, and so forth. And the whole thing is a little bit, it's humbling and it's overwhelming at the same time. And pretty much where Aaron fits in, Aaron is also, as you know, a musician, a bass player, and a drummer, and phenomenal at all those things. He's also a great craftsman, and I consider it a privilege to call him my right-hand man, because once the ship sets sail and I break the bottle over the hull, I'm going to be pretty much not doing much drum work as much as I used to, but Aaron's going to be stepping up, and he's going to be my number one drum guy.
That's great. So the new year started off wonderful. Can I have a word with Jennifer?
Absolutely. Sweetheart, somebody wants to talk to you.
How you doing, Frank? Happy New Year's.
Oh, Happy New Year to you as well, Jennifer. It's really nice to have you back on the show.
Oh, yeah. It's been a minute.
For a minute, yeah, because you're being listened to globally. You're being listened to in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Italy, your own place itself, America, throughout Europe. I mentioned Italy, didn't I? But anyway, it's really nice to have you back on the show. So, how did your Christmas go?
Oh, it was lovely. Yeah, my grandkids are getting older, so they're enjoying everything.
Well, this is it. I think it's more for kids now, isn't it, really, because of its commercialism.
It's all about kids, Frank.
All about them.
Well, I think we're all kids at heart, aren't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Well,
all I wanted was new drums, but I figured, hey, I had 3 drum sets already. I'm just going to leave that alone.
Do you know what? It's funny you saying that, because I remember last Christmas or the Christmas before, with that young little lad who went saying, and there was his drum kit, and he didn't realise, and it must have been the biggest surprise of his entire life, that particular thing. And that was a lovely, lovely story. That's one of the most, loveliest stories, lovely Christmas story we've heard in a very, very long time. Well, long Christmases ago. So I think you played the Miracle on 34th Street or wherever you are. I think that was wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you what, the ministry is still strong on that too, Frank, because, there are still people with needs, and, to enlighten that child, it's paid off, because as I understand from his mother, he's still practicing, he's becoming better. And me being able to break away to go visit them, they're only a few towns over from me.
Yeah.
I do intend to do that, and, I'll continue to mentor him the best I can, but, his mom, Altrina, she follows me all the time, and she sees what's going on. So there's going to be a large industrial party here. I'm going to be bringing in some of the biggest acts in the world. Donald Barrett, incidentally, who lives in L.A., has actually told me himself he was going to fly in from L.A. for the industry party here.
Wow.
And listen, honestly, I'm not that guy to go putting together these huge parties because I got to be somebody, and I don't rub elbows and grind like that. This is just, truly. If you go to the page, like the One Fine Tune page, and you actually see what's being installed from where I started, that's kind of where the excitement is, because really what this has been for me is to provide many things on many levels for many people, and that now includes every musician out there. Regrettably, there's not a lot of service industry in what we do in Chicagoland, and if it is out there, from what at least I've seen and heard, it's shoddy at best. But we craft ourselves on focusing on the materials. Like a gentleman actually who just left not more than an hour ago, Brian Landeman, he brought me a drum set that was made custom by a gentleman. The name of the company was Bison. They're no longer in business, but he had made himself a double 30-degree bearing edge on the radius, which is the top where the head makes to the drum shell, and it was all dented. Well, I had to hand sand that with my thumbs in 400 grit until it was smooth and rounded. You go into something like that, there's an old saying in our business, especially when it comes to milling, you could take it off, but you can't put it back on. And I did not have $4,000 American to pay for a new drum set. So I took my...
$4,000?
Oh, yes, sir.
How long did that take you, Grant, from start to finish?
Oh, about 8 hours.
8 hours?
So like
I took breaks because... Oh, pretty much a full day, yeah. And it was very successful because we reheaded his drum set, and it sounded great. So it was a great day here.
That's great. Listen, can we go over to Aaron now?
No. I'm just kidding. Here he is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Frank. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Listen, it's the band's name, Son of Rams.
Yeah.
How did you conjure that one up?
My friend Joe Pruitt, who I've been friends with since my middle school years, 8th grade on until about a couple years ago, we're in a couple of bands together, and then he started this project a couple of years back, and then he approached me saying that, would you like to play drums again with me and our friend Brett? And I said, sure, and we kind of hammered this out, and then I brought in my roommate, Pete, to fill in on bass, and then Joe pretty much just said, well, this album that you just guys heard is a 2-disc record, so it's 11 per CD. And I've never even tackled a double album before. I've only usually tackled 7 to 8 tracks on a CD, if that, or up to 12. But doing a full 22-song album was just something that I was never anticipating doing for it all. And then Joe's like, well, I think you got it. We can do this. And so throughout a course of a year, we hammered out this entire album all ourselves in a garage in the cold of Chicago, and just did what we could.
So that particular, Lonely Callers, that track was actually made in a garage.
In a garage, yeah, just with a couple of microphones and old 60s equipment, basically.
Really? That's fantastic.
Yeah, my friend, yeah.
Sorry, how did you get the name of the band? That's what we wanted to know.
Son of Rams. Joe came up with it. I think he was pulling from stuff in his life, and being born in the month of April is the sign of the Rams for Aries and whatnot. Yeah. So I think he pulled that in, and also I think his dad and mom I think they might share a birthday as well in that time frame as well, so that might be another factor. Yeah. But we tried to pull a little bit of everything in from all the little aspects, but I think Joe would have more details on that, and I haven't talked to him in a while. He just recently, he and his fiance got married, and then they had a baby just recently as well, too, so we've all been kind of on a hiatus. And just kind of doing our own thing.
It's a good name, because no one will forget it in a hurry, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's all Joe on that one. Joe Pruitt. He's the mastermind on the name and the band and all the songs and stuff like that.
So how many's in the band?
4 of us did this album, and then there's a couple other guys from back home in Rockford, Illinois, the hometown of Cheap Trick. All of those, Joe had a couple other friends that I went through high school with who also did another album under the same name. So technically there's 8 of us, but it's 2 different bands, so 2 different sounds. You get your more classic sound with us, and then you get with the other guys, you get more of that modern, like Radiohead and like Fugazi or any of those bands kind of sounds. Anything that's got a little bit more edge and a little bit more, not as what I would say would be like straightforward, to be more of like just kind of like that garage indie rock kind of sound.
Well, I always ask when I'm talking to musos, we call them musos over here, musicians.
Tell them about that, Frank.
What?
Right. So, who inspires you? Who inspires you? When you're a youngster and you're listening to records. The likes of John Lennon, for example, and Paul McCartney, they were inspired by Elvis. Because there's a very famous quote by John Lennon, and he said there was nothing before Elvis. So, who inspired you?
Well, obviously, I'm going to have to come straight to you guys and say the Beatles were a big, huge influence on my youth, and definitely Ringo. But just as far as like listening to all the material, like I went from the Beatles over to like the American classic 50s, 60s rock and roll. And then I went back over again to you guys for Led Zeppelin and The Who and pretty much like The Clash or any of that.
Yeah.
And stuck in the classic rock world.
Yeah.
And then also into the progressive rock world as well, like with the bands like UK, King Crimson, Pink Floyd, all of the big heavy hitters that just changed the whole game from like 1968, not practically 67 to 79, almost 89, you could say. Because then all the hair metal came out, and then I started drifting away from that, just keeping the classic roots, because I was one of those kids that could see what was going on, is that you're influencing this new style of music, but at the same time you're sweeping under the rug kind of like the meat and potatoes of a lot of things. But now it's starting to come back. A lot of kids are really starting to show the signs of like getting away from the mainstream media and bringing back like the old bands like The Clash, Zeppelin, The Who, anybody that can just find that, solid rock and roll just urge in their body. They're just bringing it back, which is a big eye-opening experience for myself, because it's like growing up with all people who are like, from the era. They're like, aren't you a little young for all that? I'm like, nah, rock and roll's where it was at. So mostly like with, listening like Led Zeppelin through my 8th grade years, the end of my middle school years into high school, just getting so bogged into the classic heavy rock, that's where I pretty much stayed.
Okay, how do your live performances work, Aaron? How do your live performances work? Do you get much live work, or do you get many gigs?
I do get a lot of live work every weekend. I play at a local bar in Chicago. And
not just any local bar,
the Gallery Cabaret, which is a huge
staple.
It's a staple in the Chicago industry.
It?
Yeah, everybody's played there in the Chicago scene, even before they were famous. Like the Pumpkins have played there. A few other people that are in the folk scene as well have played there too.
Wow.
Well, funny enough, Aaron, we were discussing Lonely Callers, and what we were discussing when you first kicked off, when we were listening to it, we said there's a little bit of Bowie there. There's a little bit of early Bowie. This is what we were saying. Then a little bit of folky music as well, thrown in. So there's a bit of a mishmash of things just on that particular Lonely Callers.
Yeah, we mixed the kind of the both sounds as well, having acoustic and electrical instruments on that track particular. But that whole album, we do a lot of both. We actually get into more the soft side. There's a couple of tracks past this that it's that mostly feature acoustic guitar and like no drums on it. I'm like actually playing like some rockers, so we're trying to like cover all the bases. Basically what the Beatles were doing like through Hard Day's Night and up until, after Help and everything like that, how they were experimenting with George Martin in the studio, like what they could change to, keep fresh. And so we were kind of like looking around the garage and be like, what do we have in here that we can do to make something unique? And pretty much like I just started grabbing a tambourine or something like that, shaking it, and then Joe pulled out his acoustic guitar and we just kind of tracked a few things that way, and then everything else built around it.
Well, do you know, have you ever heard of Big Country?
Yeah.
Well, Big Country, Ian's who's sitting here, he's a big friend of theirs. And
the band. Yeah.
And the likes of Big Country, Ian wants to say something about Big Country.
No, yeah, I was just wondering, as a drummer, what you think of Mark Brazucchi. Have you heard any of his stuff? And,
No.
No?
I don't know.
He's done quite a bit with Phil Collins, and Procol Harum. He tours with
Well,
a lot, yeah.
One of my influences, because everybody has a pop song that they like to, try to emulate or mimic. And one of the catchy parts of the song "Big Country" by the band Big Country was that coming out of that bagpipe hit, and the phrasing of the hi-hat accents, boom digga digga, boom digga digga, and every time I heard that one little bar of that phrase, it always reminded me of that Zeppelin riff.
Immigrant song.
It's an immigrant song. So I honestly, I bet you if I interviewed that drummer, I bet you he'd say, that's where I got it from.
Do you know what, Grant? I remember you saying, and we've asked other people this, I always remember you saying, always listen out for the drums, because no matter, albeit that I love music and everything else, I've been listening to drums, and do you know the likes of She's Got It and I Drove All Night by the Big O? The drumming's absolutely fantastic. So I'm listening now for drums now, more so than...
it's important to do that.
Sometimes they set back in the mix, aren't they?
Well, it's about articulation, guys. I mean, when you're listening to the drums, I mean, the basic formula, at least I'm sure I can speak on behalf of Aaron when I say it, is the rhythm section of any unit, whether it's a 4-piece, 5-piece, sextet, octet, whatever. Those two members, that bass player and that drummer, if they're not on point with each other, the whole thing can fall apart on stage.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Listening to Paul and Ringo, for instance, it's like, I think that was really more or less almost half the magic of the Beatles was just listening to how solid Ringo and Paul were. Yeah. Playing as a rhythm section. Yeah. And generally in rhythm in itself, you want to pretty much, at least in some cases, like the blues, you definitely, if you're doing something like a 4 on the floor, you really want that bass line and that bass drum to be, boom, 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 because that's the pulse of the song. But the articulation that Paul and Ringo used were sometimes so polyrhythmic, but yet it all came together with John and George. It was so exciting to listen, and that's what makes the Beatles exciting for me. I mean, it's just between the production of Martin and everybody, and wow.
I think one of the greatest live performances I've ever heard, really, was when they were on the roof. In
fact, I was watching that not too long ago, as a matter of fact.
That was one of the greatest live performances ever, because the singing, everything was unbelievable.
Yeah, Billy Preston on key.
Oh, yeah, Billy Preston, man. Wow.
And Billy Preston, of course, he was up there.
Get Back, he done that.
Yeah, Get Back.
How many groups went on to do that over the years? Go on the Roof.
They copied it, didn't they? Grant, I'm sorry we've run out of time, unfortunately.
Well, can't we buy more?
I wish we could. We'll have to wait until next month now.
He's got the money now with his big new shop.
He's got all that space.
There's no echo in the shop.
Do you know what?
Who is it?
Listen to that.
And these are my Knights of the Round Table.
No one lives there. Nobody. I'll go away before I taunt you a second time.
Don't get these two started.
What are they like? Listen,
We'll go Python all day.
Yeah, we'll do Python all day with y'all.
Listen, Grant, it's been wonderful to talk to you, obviously, Aaron, and of course, the lovely Jennifer.
Say you love him, Jennifer.
Love you, Frank.
Thank you, Jennifer. You're a lovely person. Now, listen, Grant, you know, for 2017, we wish you everything. We just wish that you'd have the best of everything this coming year, and we mean that. And will you come on with it again next month?
Absolutely, if Jason will pencil me in on his big old calendar there.
Well, he has. He's already penciled you in, so he said, but be polite and ask him. So I'm being polite and I'm asking you, so you're already being penciled in, Grant, whether you liked it or not.
I appreciate that, gentlemen, and I'm excited for 2017. It's going to be I'm going to be 50 next month.
Whoa!
And I know, right? And I only know that. I forget my age, and Jennifer will tell you that story a long time. But it's the world. All right. Well, anyway, I'm actually working 3 shows with the Temptations next month down in Nashville, and on the 4th day I get to break bread with them. It's going to be fun.
Oh, that's fantastic, though. Maybe we can talk about that then as well.
Absolutely.
So, but if you come on by yourself, you know, we can have more time. You'll be talking about that particular gig.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
It'll be all over my page. You're very, very welcome, Frank. Jason, crew, I love you guys. We love you guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
World out there from every country heard, we love you. And, don't be strangers.
And the likes of Europe, all Europe as well. Don't forget the likes of Europe. Anyway, Grant, thank you so much. Aaron, thank you so much. And
definitely,
Jennifer,
Frank,
thank you so much.
Right. Take care, gentlemen.
Nice one. See you, Grant.
Bye-bye now.
Cheers.
Bye.
Say hi to that queen for me.
Well, that was the wonderful Grant Niebergall and Jennifer, his partner, and Aaron Brace, the drummer, and also the keyboard player from Son of Rams. Son of Rams. That's nice. There's a thing in...
He's down to make a Derby County.
I know he is. But anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to play a couple of songs, and it's by Butterfly in the Traffic. That's Grant Niebergall's band. It's called No Mercy, and a little bit of We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. Ooh. Billy Joel. Is it Joel or Joel? Joel.
Yeah, I say Joel.
I say Joel.
I've heard so many people call him
Joel. Billy Joel.
Joel, isn't it?
Joel.
What do you reckon, Jay?
Joel.
Oh,
3-1.
3-1. Alright, Billy Joel then it is. But anyway, here are those two. No Mercy by Butterfly in the Traffic, and We Didn't Start the Fire. And after that, we've got a fantastic guest, a Doctor Who expert and fellow historian, David Howe. And we'll be on right after this.
You're listening to Mersey Radio. Mersey Radio. Broadcasting to Merseyside and the world.
Imagine if you could escape right now to somewhere sunny, relaxed and fun-filled. Go on, you know you deserve it. Come to Villanova Park, your first-class holiday park just outside of Barcelona. Villanova Park offers it all with a heated indoor pool, terrace bar, gym and much, much more. Why not take advantage of our winter sun offers and enjoy a self-catering 2-bedroom chalet for 4 from as little as £96 for 3 nights. Escape to the sun this winter. Call our local representatives for special deals on 075 44 393 472. Villanova Park. You know you want to.
Is your garden looking tired, untidy, need some help to spruce it up? Why not call AJ Walton Garden Services? Lawns, hedges, jet washing and much, much more. All areas covered. With a special offer of £10 every 2 weeks or £15 every 4 weeks. Call John now on 07474 727 951.
Have you got a special occasion coming up? Need the wow factor? Then look no further than Stevie Mac's Party Shop, the one-stop shop for all your party needs. DJs, balloons, banners, mascot hire, candy floss, popcorn and much, much more. Call 0151 525 0872 or visit our website steviemacs.co.uk.
Well, that was great, that. You know what, I haven't got my glasses on. I can't see a thing, you know, without my glasses. I was just having a sleep. Anyway, I'm going to say a few hellos.
Go on.
I'm going to say hello to Lou.
Lou, hey Lou.
Hello, Lou.
So I'm going to say hello to what's his name? I forget his name. It's terrible. See, this is it.
That's the same fella you forgot before.
That's the same fella before, yeah. But anyway, John Sargison all the way down there, and
hey John,
Australia.
Hello, John.
What's his name? I forget his name. And he's a lovely fella, by the way. But he's
in
in New Zealand. He's in Spencer. His name is Spencer.
Hi, Spencer.
Hello, Spencer.
Well, that Spencer's a big red. And he actually gave me the address of Gordon Mill.
Oh, right.
How about that then? And he's enjoying all the wonderful weather down there in sunny New Zealand. So just imagine, the other side of the world, and they're listening into it all the way down there, which is
fantastic.
It's absolutely unbelievable to think, technology today.
Yeah.
The way technology is, and we were going to talk about Doctor Who and the technology there, but unfortunately we can't get hold of it.
Technology's failed us.
The technology's failed, but not on our part, but on David Howe's part, which is
lost in the TARDIS.
He could be lost in the TARDIS. He could be in another dimension. Or another universe, mind you. This show goes out of another universe.
It's on another universe.
It's on another universe.
What?
You might have been exterminated.
You might have been exterminated.
We met a Dalek, didn't we?
We did meet a Dalek, yeah. And it was just before Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we met this particular Dalek. I had my photograph taken with the Dalek. I couldn't shake hands with it though, but I had to shake what's it called? You know them things that stick out? Oh, the ray gun. Is it? That's it. Is it a ray gun?
I don't know.
There's a few things that stick out of a Dalek. Isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it.
Listen, this is a watershed show.
Where was the Dalek? Where did you see it?
Well, we've seen it in Hanover Street.
Oh, you've been making its way to Rigby's.
So anyway, that's where
nothing down the sound. That one.
That's where we met it. It's amazing, isn't it? The way these people make up these things.
Yeah.
For a television series.
Yeah.
And when it first came out, Doctor Who, William Hartnell, people thought, it won't take off this because the sets were diabolical. But when you see now the technology that it is today, it's phenomenal. Yeah. It really is. It's global now. And they only brought it back with Christopher Eccleston. After years in the wilderness, then all of a sudden Christopher Eccleston said, I'll do one series. And then Matt Smith did it, David Tennant did it. And who's doing it now?
There's been a few. Paul McCann done it.
Paul McCann's in it. Scouser. Two Scousers.
And Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. Well, you've got a story about Tom Baker. Well, not a story, but it's a... Yeah.
Well, he was... our Bernard ran away to be a Christian brother. But so did Tom Baker. And they were in the same class. And he kept in touch, I think, up until about... It's only 10 years ago. But when he went to Boston, he used to stay with our parents a few times, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's such a nice person as Tom Baker.
Well, I've not met him personally,
really?
But our parents said he's alright,
yeah. So. People who I've never met him in all honesty, but people who have met him said that he's such a nice person, down to earth.
He was one of them people who really stayed in the public eye a lot, was he?
No, he's very private.
Yeah, he is.
A very private man.
Yeah.
A very private man. And a great actor, by the way.
Yeah.
I've seen him playing Rasputin.
Yes, I did too.
The Mad Monk.
Yeah.
And he was
great.
brilliant in that. It was sinister.
Yeah.
You know, because he's got them eyes.
Great adjective to describe him in that, yeah.
Very, you know, these, the eyes, the way he just looked, and that just shows you what a great actor these people are. They can look at you, and you know.
And then Paul, of course, is one of the McGanns, you know.
Yeah. And you know the McGanns, don't you?
I do know the McGanns.
You know Mark very well.
I know Mark extremely well.
And I know Joe very well.
Yeah, I know Joe. Joe went to our school.
Well, Joe was on our show. He was on our show, and what a gentleman.
Yeah,
what
a nice family.
Yeah,
family, aren't they?
Great talented family, you know.
But that's Liverpool for you, though, isn't it? You know?
And the sister Claire, she's cleverest out of a lot of them.
I don't know. I've only met a few of them McGanns.
Yeah.
But Joe I do know, and as I said, they're friends of the show. Anyway,
sorry,
go on.
A little fact about Paul.
Go on.
He was English school's triple jump champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to Cardinal Allen.
Right.
It's Cardinal Heen in that one. Before that was Cardinal Allen.
Yeah.
And he was a triple jump champion.
You wouldn't think that, would you?
No.
You wouldn't think that.
No.
You know, athleticism.
He's a good athlete. And a fine actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is it. You see, once you start acting, I think it gets in your blood, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's but they've always been into it, you know, since they were since they left school.
Were they connected to the Everyman then?
Yeah.
That churned out so many great actors.
Did.
But funny enough, like when I recite a poem or like a speech from Shakespeare or whatever, people say to me, "You should have been a great actor." I said, "What do you mean a great actor?" They said, "The way you put it over." I said, "No," I said, "You know, if anyone can recite anything," I said, "you've got to put your feeling into anything." It's like a Beatles thing. It was a Beatles weekend once, a few years ago, and someone asked me to give a talk at St Barnabas up in Penny Lane there, and I went, "What for?" He said, "Just give a talk, you know." And I went, "Oh, well, okay then." And anyway, I went there, and at the time I was doing a coach tour, so I made like a detour. I said, "How long do you want me for?" They said, "About 25 minutes. So I said, "Okay." So anyway, I said to the people on the coach, I said, "We're going to St Barnabas's," and they all went, "What for?" I said, "Well, it's very historical." I said, "The Beatles, were there. You know, Paul McCartney used to go there." And they went, "Oh, well, I like that." Anyway, they all get shot. But it was chock, absolutely chock and block. You know, the church, anyway, they introduced me. And I said, "I haven't got long, you know." So I went into this routine and talking. I wasn't talking about the Beatles, by the way. Because, albeit that, I know of them and everything else. I'm no expert on them. So I gave this talk. And you know, my talks are... this is true, there was an old lady sitting in front, and she was just sitting there, you know, looking at this fella standing up and talking, and it was humorous, as you know, I'd give a humorous talk. So anyway, she went and after me, she went, they all clapped, you know, "Yeah, get in there," and she stood up and went, she said, "That was good." She said, "When's Frank on?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, you're the comedian, aren't you?" She thought it was a comedian.
Do you know what I watched last night? Your talk at Harold House.
Why?
Honestly. Yeah, I wasn't going to tell you. We'll see you talk about St Barnabas. I thought I'll throw it in, yeah.
You listened to it?
Yeah, listen to it, yeah.
What's that on then?
Oh, that's nice.
He's talking about George Coleman and David Lewis and all them, you know.
Yeah, because I was talking about the Jewish lads in the First World War.
Yeah.
and especially David Lewis, who, you know, opened Lewis's.
Which
because
I didn't know. I thought they were two separate families.
No.
Because the David Lewis Hotel and Lewis's store, I thought they were separate.
No.
So I found it very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, Frank, sorry, while you're on the subject of Lewis's, how did the statue come about?
The statue?
On Lewis's, yeah.
I'll tell you now, and that was Jacob Epstein, who, you know, sculpted it. It went up in 1958. So when you think of 1958, do you know what it's actually called?
No, what?
The statue itself. Don't say Dickie Lewis.
Well, that's his nickname, isn't
That's
it?
his
Obviously,
nickname,
no,
yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Shall I tell you what it's called? Well, I'll have to tell you, won't I?
Yeah, go on.
It's called the Resurgence.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The Resurgence of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because 1958, it's just post-war, isn't it? Don't forget that Lewis's was bombed.
Yeah.
And that's the second Lewis's.
Okay.
So it's the same site and everything else. So the Resurgence of Liverpool is after the war. How about Jacob Epstein?
Statue exceedingly there.
And I think we're going to get. I think we've got David Howe. No, we haven't got David.
That'd be our equivalent to David, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yeah, when you think
It
about
would be. You know, because when you think about it, the Resurgence of Liverpool. It's Liverpool built up from the ashes again, like the rise of the phoenix.
Yeah.
But he couldn't put a phoenix there, Jacob Epstein. Great sculptor, by the way.
Yeah.
Great sculptor. Tell me what he's actually standing on.
I was going to be boring there and say plinth, but
No, because I had all these ladies on me coach, right? Mixed bag of them, you know, different ages, but mostly older women.
Yeah.
And I said, as we was going along Lime Street, I said, and we're coming up to Dickie Lewis. We'll all have a look at that. And they were all looking, you know. And I said, "What's his name?" And no one knew. I said, "Well, he was the sculptor." No one knew. I said, "Well, what's he standing on?" And they all went, "We don't know."
Well, yeah.
You know, before we got there.
I'm looking at his stance.
Right.
It's not a surfboard, Frank, is it?
Do you know what? You know what? You're so hot. You're so close.
I'm just thinking of the stance, you know.
Yeah, the stance.
Well,
yeah.
it's obviously not a skateboard, but is it something like that?
Shall I tell you what it is? You're so close, by the way. It's a bow of a ship.
Is it?
It's the bow of a ship.
So he's looking out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, don't forget it's a port as well.
Yeah.
So he's standing on the bow of a ship.
Yeah.
And the old and the women went like that. We don't look at that thing at the on the bow of a ship. You know, so it's as you said, you know, Dickie Lewis, the name, nickname.
Yeah.
And when you had dates or anything, and you was supposed to meet somewhere, you know, one of the most like meeting places, important meeting places, was underneath Dickie Lewis.
But remember, you know, the Liverpool, like say you stand there like one of Lewis's.
Yes.
Has that got anything to do with the the resurgence of Liverpool?
Well, yeah, of course it has.
Well, you say that, well, to the uneducated.
Yeah, no, it's
not that apparent, is it?
No, it isn't.
So what does that mean?
Standing there like Dickie Lewis.
So just bare and...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just standing there, not moving and Dickie.
Okay.
Anyway, so, you know, that's one of the great... This is getting on my nerves. It keeps pulling. Anyway...
it's only Ian.
I know.
You are talking about the lead from your headphones.
I am talking about the lead from my headphones.
Just to let the listeners know what you're talking about.
Exactly. But it kept pulling. But, you know, it's one of those things that people look at, like the resurgence of Liverpool. And when you look around Liverpool and the way it was bombed in the Second World War, we were the most bombed city outside London. And it really doesn't get mentioned. It never gets mentioned. It's like the Civil War, the English Civil War. We never get mentioned. And yet it was the catalyst for the downfall of Charles I. when he went up to Marston Moor, they were heavily defeated because Rupert's men, who took the castle here between May and June 1644, after 18 days, the siege used up all his gunpowder, lost 2,000 men. By the time they got to Marston Moor from Liverpool, the battle, they were bedraggled, they were bloodied, no ammunition, no gunpowder, that is. And it gave the parliamentarians a lift, and it was from Marston. They were heavily defeated with the royalists. So from there, Rupert, said to Charles, listen, you better take off, or they're going to have you. And he got off, surrendered himself to the Scots. So that was really, it was the catalyst here for his downfall. But that's where he was defeated, really. But we never, ever get a mention.
What do you think that is, Frank?
I don't know. It's like anything. If I said to you now, who's Sir Douglas Fox? You go, but if I said, who's Edinburgh Kingdom Brunel, or George Stevenson, or Thomas Telford, Yeah. So why doesn't one of the greatest of all civil engineers, one of the greatest of all designers, as in Sir Douglas Fox, ever get a mention? Because it was Sir Douglas Fox who designed the very first electrified overhead railway in the entire world, and it became synonymous with America and also Japan, the overhead railway.
So again, same question, why do you think it is?
I think it's biasness. You look at Liverpool, the second city of the empire, the second city, more millionaires living in Liverpool than anywhere else in the entire world. Liverpool was the hub of the world, and you're talking mid-19th century. Yes, we didn't get our city status until 1880. So you ask yourself the same question, why? We gave the world the first passenger railway system in the entire world. We gave and that was in 1836. We gave in 1715, when we opened it up, the very first controlled wet dock in the entire world, and everybody copied. We even did the very first X-ray machine, but if you think about it, and the very first underground tunnel that went underwater in the world, and then they copied it. Yet we didn't get our city status until 1880.
Yeah.
So you can ask, why didn't we? And I don't know. I think, myself personally, I think it was a bit of jealousy, because what we did, we went and did things. We just said, let's do it.
Just made it happen. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's get on. Let's carry on and do it. Yeah. And which we did. We had the very first medical officer of health in the world. Yeah. We appointed Dr. William Duncan. We said, listen, we want you to concentrate on the sickness and everything else to alleviate these diseases. We want you. So no one had shall we say, the genius to appoint anybody. They just let it carry on. But we said, and we went above heads. We had to go down to London in 1580 to stop Chester having the monopoly over us, because we were paying taxes to Chester for our ships coming in here.
Is that because they were the local city?
Well, it wasn't only the local city; it was the main city of the whole of the northwest. So what had happened? Our lads went like that. Our merchants, thank God, this is mad. We're paying them. What are we paying them for? And they're actually sending their ships in for free. No, not having this. So they went down to the Master of the Rolls in London. So the Master of the Rolls sat there, and everybody expected for the Liverpool merchants to be chased. But the Master of the Rolls found for the Liverpool people, and they went, Liverpool.
Yeah.
So the monopoly was ended then in 1580. And do you know what Liverpool became then? The very first free port in the world.
At that time?
At that time.
Right.
So isn't it fantastic?
Yeah.
And Liverpool, you know, again, you're going back to 1565, and on the 23rd of December 1565, there was what you call, which is well documented, the Great Storm. Now, the Great Storm was a hurricane, and it blew everything away. There was only a couple of things that were made from stone, the likes of Tower Building and the castle, and even the little town hall that was left standing. And John Cross then, who was the mayor, said, listen, you know, stay with me, let's build Liverpool, but we won't build it from wood or anything.
He built it from stone, didn't he?
He built it from stone.
Yeah, that's right.
So in 1566, Liverpool became the very first stone township. That's without asking for permission. In 1301, even before 1301, but it go back to 1301, Liverpool was a paved town. No one had a paved town. We did. Because you had to ask for permission. You had to get licenses. So Liverpool just went on from there. So we were radical. And we've always been radical. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it.
And do you think then there's been a bias against
Liverpool? Of course there has.
A historical bias that
yeah, absolutely.
That still exists today, to be honest.
Of course, there's always been a bias. And when you look at you know, the city status, as I said, it was 1880. You know, you say, why? Why? Don't forget the very first ambassador to come out of America in 1790 was James Morey from America. Didn't go to London, came here, came to Liverpool to look after.
Excuse me, do you live on Rodney Street?
No, Jane.
First American consul.
Well, yeah, Jane. Yeah, he was living down in Paradise Street at the beginning, and then he came up to Rodney Street. You're spot on, right on the corner there, and he stayed for 40 years.
But who else's house is that? If I remember rightly.
No, that was Henry Booth, a fella named Henry Booth. Henry Booth. What he actually invented was the coupling for the railway, because they only had ropes tied, you know, the carriages, and they kept snapping.
Yeah.
So they went like that. Oh, I don't know for this, you know. So he went, yeah, how about this? And he designed out of iron the coupling. He said, this won't snap. Now his cousin, do you know who his cousin was? A fella by the name of Julius Brutus Booth. And Julius Brutus Booth was an actor, and this actor was in the Theatre Royal, which is on the site of now the Liverpool shop on Williamson Square. Right, so he was there. Anyway, he always played the bard, a poor player that struts and frets out upon the stage, you know. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark, you know, and all this, you know. So everybody loved him. Anyway, he had this play, which was awful. Anyone for TV, you know, that type of play. And what they all did was heckle him, boo him. And he just said, I've had enough of this, I'm off. So he said, farewell, friends, my lovely audiences. I'm going over to a place where my new audiences will appreciate me and the bard. Farewell. Yeah, go on, shut off. You know, so he went. And his son followed him in his footsteps when he went to America. Followed him in his footsteps on the stage. And his son was John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
So how about that? How about that for a Liverpool connection?
There you go.
So when you think about Liverpool and America and the connections, one of the greatest connections is the Alabama being built in Camelot, and the Alabama belonged to the Confederates. And the Confederates, as you know, were fighting the Union, you know, the northern part of America. And it was a Liverpool crew who actually manned the Alabama. And the Alabama sank more shipping than any other battleship in any war.
Wow.
How about that? Liverpool crew. And the very first shot of the American Civil War was by the Horsefall gun, made in Sefton Street, here in Liverpool. How about that? And the very last action of the American Civil War was when Captain James Waddell sails his battleship right up the Mersey, gets off it, walks up with his crew to the Liverpool Town Hall, surrenders himself to the city and to the citizens of Liverpool and the mayor at the time. And so the line, and a ship, the Shenandoah, which was a big ship, a big battleship. So the line was drawn up, or drawn under the American Civil War. How about that then? Is that cool?
All that from Dickie Lewis.
Yeah. All that from Dickie. Anyway, here's another. We've got our guest. He's appeared. He's just been in the TARDIS. He's just come back, and he's just gone again.
Play the song. I'll get Neil up.
Okay. So what we'll do? We'll play a song, and shall we? What is it? Goodbye, Chipper. No, but it's a long way to Tickle Mary, is it? What is it? What's that song?
Stuff by where Piss lives, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. No, it's this fella that appears with us, Jez, and Ian, you know him, and his name is David Neville King.
David Neville King. I've tried to get hold of him twice, David, if you're listening.
Well, he'll be listening. And do you know what? He's actually singing this song, and it's called Ginger McCain. Now, what inspired him to write that, do you reckon?
Yeah, Red Rum.
Red Rum, yeah, because it's inspired by the Aintree Grand National.
Yeah.
So there you go, David Neville King and Ginger McCain.
If you like classic rock, tune into Will Meadows, Saturdays at 8 p.m. for the best in classic rock and great guitar music. Whatever you're up to this Sunday, whether it's the DIY, the housework, or you're cooking up a storm in the kitchen, tune into the Sunday Show with Gary Reddin, 2 till 4 every Sunday for the soundtrack to your Sunday, here on Mersey Radio. For all your around-the-world sports news, tune into Neil Garner every Monday at 10 p.m. on Mersey Radio. The best in 60s and 70s music, plus a little bit of history. Tune into Frank Carlyle every Monday at 8 p.m. here only on Mersey Radio.
Well, that was Ginger McCain by our friend David Neville
King.
What do you think of that then? It's good, wasn't it?
He's a good lad as well.
He is a smashing fella. But anyway, David, if you're listening in, Des Flanagan wants to get hold of you. Anyway, we've got Neil Garner. Now, Neil, he was living over there for a while in the States, has actually come back.
Yeah.
And let's good evening to you, Neil.
Good evening, Frank. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. And you've got your big show on, haven't you? After this.
Yeah, Frank, we've got all kinds of everything, as Darren would say, and we just another top weekend of full action sport and everything else.
Yeah, because you do very diverse stuff, don't you? You know, you do Are you following the darts this time?
Yeah, I mean, Frank, we've got the BDO World Championships now. Yeah. The wonderful Lakeside. I mean, my mate Jeff Smith, he's on stage at the moment. He's come all the way over from Canada, and he's actually on stage at the moment, playing in the first round. So, we have a good laugh with everyone on both sides of the darting divide, as there is, and we have to keep abreast of everything and.
It's become very passionate though, hasn't it? Even by the performers, the dart throwers themselves. They're very passionate now, aren't they? Rather than
I mean, Frank, since the booze has been banned and everything else on stage, it's you know, it is, and there's a lot of money, Frank. You know what I mean? £100,000 the winner of that will get on next Sunday. So, you know, there's a lot of money on offer.
£100,000.
Yeah, just for throwing a couple of darts. You know,
I'll tell you what, though, there'll be more spin-offs from that, wouldn't it? So it'll be more than £100,000.
Well, that's it, Frank. I mean,
sponsorship and everything.
A lad that I know, Michael Van Garen, who I've known since he was 17 years old. He's now a multi-millionaire over the last 2 years. He's won £1 million worth of prize money, and he's only 27.
Wow.
He's never done a day's work in his life. All he's ever done is play darts.
But what about the Power?
Well,
is he a millionaire?
He is, Frank, but he's had a few problems over the last couple of months, and he's not worth as much as he used to be worth. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
He's had to lose a lot of that money over the last couple of years, and it's well documented. So we can't divulge.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Not. But anyway, you know, it says it's lucrative. So listen, did you hear the cup draw?
Yes, I have seen the draw, Frank, and it's very favourable to the teams that are still left in terms of Liverpool, and a couple of other teams not far away from here. I mean, Liverpool have now got Wolverhampton in the next round if they finally get past Plymouth a week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we've got that to look forward to. Also, Man United have got Wigan in that one. So you know it's playing out favourably to everyone over
to all the top teams.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, Frank, I think the only thing that would have shocked anyone over the weekend is if Plymouth came up to Liverpool and did Liverpool over, because the teams that were getting beat were the teams you sort of expected to get beat, if you get what I mean. Yeah, you know, there's no such thing as a cup shock here, like we know years ago, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. But your show's going out live now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Frank. We're back live again. Now I'm back home and everything after my little American adventure and everything else. So we just try and keep everything all under one roof and make sure everyone's happy with everything that we deal with, whether it be ice hockey, American football, or the normal football, or even the darts as well.
That's great, that, because you know you see. No, Des wants to ask you a question.
Hey, Neil, it's Flanagan, you alright, mate?
You're alright, mate, yeah.
How long have you been home now, Neil?
I've been home for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, because last time we spoke, it was coming on top a little bit for you there, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were happening over there that was wasn't really what you know. I went over there at the wrong place at the wrong time. If you get what, you know, and that's what happened to me. I kept my head down and just kept on going. You know, like living where I live in Liverpool. You know, it's something that I've come accustomed to, and I've realised there is two places the same.
Yeah. I mean, I know you can't go on about it too much though, but are you glad to be back home?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no, because you know, America was the big dream, and to be honest, a lot of my passions are over there. Would it be ice hockey, baseball, American football? Yeah. You know, they are my passions, and I've been watching and looking at that sport for a long time. I mean, it's good to be back. I can get to watch Everton whenever I want now, and Liverpool and stuff, so I can see that sort of stuff. And
you see that as a plus, do you, Nick?
Yeah. well, to put it this way, in America, you have to go searching to find Liverpool and be able to watch them and to watch Everton as well. And also, if you want to watch them on your telly in your house, you have to pay extra for that. A lot more than what we pay over here for Sky TV.
It's a couple of decent bars over there, though, Neil, isn't it? That are affiliated to Liverpool.
Yeah, there is. I mean, especially where I was working in different places and that. There is a few bars that will show Premier League, but if it clashes with one of their sports, there is an absolute. You know, there is a lot going on with that, and they they always favour sports over. Because
well, you can't blame them, though, Neil. Can you? To be honest, because
it's a business at the end of the day, and that's why I always say about sport. Sport is more and more becoming a business, and in every which way, and that's it's sad in a way, but we're all here to do the Pet Shop Boys. Let's make lots of money. You know what I mean?
Well, what about Everton's new grounds, which is proposed down at Bramley Moordock?
To be honest, Frank, I absolutely love the idea of having the ground there, and if it brings more people into the city, it'll also create thousands of jobs for people coming out of school and stuff like that. So it's a win-win situation, and it's something that maybe the city needs. A bit of positivity in terms of jobs.
Well, yeah, we all say yes to that all the time. No, what else I was being told was that they're going to change the name Everton from the People's Club to the Dockers Club.
To be fair, Frank, it wouldn't surprise me because I think that moniker was coined by Mr. David Moyes, and to be fair, the situation he's in at the moment, I think everything associated with David Moyes needs to be
re-examined.
Re-examined.
Reassessed.
There's only one Dockers Club, Frank.
Well, listen, Neil, we're running into your show. Listen, Neil, it's so glad to have you back live.
Yeah.
And just to wish you all the best for 2017.
And I'm saying to you, Frank, hopefully we can. Hopefully 2017 will be a year for all of us.
Absolutely. Here on that. And see you next week.
Yeah, I'll say take care, Frank, and I'll see you soon, mate.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye, Neil.
See you, Neil.
Well, that was Neil Garner. His show's following us, all the sports, everything else, and it's all from me. All as I can say is thank you to all my guests. Jess Flanagan.
Thanks, Frank.
Ian Golder.
Thanks, Frank.
And the wonderful Jason Pennington, boy wonder, boy genius. Without him, the show wouldn't go ahead. And to all the listeners out there, thank you so much. Chris Robertson's little lad, Henry, who drew his dad on himself, going to his very first game at Anfield against Plymouth last weekend. Grant Niebergall and Aaron Brace and his lovely wife or partner, Jennifer, and everyone else who's been here. Thank you so much. And all the wonderful people out there, including David Dow, who never came on. He's in the TARDIS somewhere, out in another universe or wherever they say. Anyway, see you all next week, God's willing. And it's me, Frank Carlyle, for Mersey Radio. See you all next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.